Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing Donald Trump versus Elizabeth Warren. I'm still a little sick, as you can tell. But, of course, we're going to do Donald Trump's best case scenario, Elizabeth Warren's best case scenario, and what I think is going to end up happening. So let's start off with Donald Trump's best case scenario. This scenario is where, again, just like Sanders, voters don't want to vote for the far left, and especially worse with Warren, especially after what she did to Bernie in the primary. They're not going to want to vote for a lying snake either. They'd rather stick to their guts with the president. I think. Oh, excuse me. I do think Oregon would be lean. Warren would be dead in Sanders country. Washington would be an 11-point win for her in this scenario. Nevada would be lean as well. Arizona should be safe, actually. New Mexico would be tilt. Colorado would be lean. Again, the Bernie Bros and the Latino vote in New Mexico would pull up for Trump just because of how well he's doing for them in the job area. It would be amazing for them. It's amazing for them right now. Their unemployment rate is at the lowest it's ever been. The Bernie Bros in Colorado would not pull out for Warren. The people who would pull out for Warren would be just overshadowed by the Trump supporters here in the state. Minnesota would be lean for Donald Trump. Wisconsin and Pennsylvania would be likely. Michigan would be lean. The Rust Belt, the economy is doing great. Agriculturally, it's doing amazing. Farmers are and just knee deep in plants and crops. Virginia would be tilt for Donald Trump again. Just like voters here are just sick and tired of the whole gun law banning their Second Amendment rights, so they're gonna pull out for Trump, and especially against a far left Democrat like Elizabeth Warren. She can say she's a centrist all she wants, but it's not going to work. North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida would all be tilt. Oh, let me make the map nice and pretty. Okay. Maryland, I think, would be lean. Again, I think Larry Hogan in this scenario would be pulling out for Trump, try to flip the state to red, which would be a shock, in my opinion. New Jersey would be tilt. Again, I think the whole Bernie Bros in New Jersey won't pull out for Warren, and the Jews won't pull out for Warren either. Because, hold on, let me see if that's true. We're about to find out, because I think I've seen something about Elizabeth Warren being anti-Semitic. Hold on, I can't. I can't type. Maybe. Where does Elizabeth start? Oh wait, hold up. Let's do this. We're gonna do some research on live. Let's see here. Okay. Never mind. Likely. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I thought I read something about Warren making anti-Semitic jokes. Wait a minute. That was... never mind. Wrong politician. Rhode Island would be tilted for Donald Trump. This would be because of the whole Lincoln Chafee business. I do think he's going to end up winning the Libertarian nomination. Either that... I mean, if he doesn't, it would be likely for Warren, but still... I see Vermont being likely. It will be a 9-point win. It won't be much, but this scenario is where the Vermont voters aren't happy with Warren, just because of the Bernie situation. It's gonna backfire tremendously. New Hampshire will be lean for Donald Trump. She won't, even though she has appeal up in the New England area, she is not going to pull out voters this time around. Again, the same with Maine's first district and Maine at large. It would pull out for Donald Trump and win. He would get a big win, as he says. It'll be 367 electoral votes to 171. So there you go. Now let's do Elizabeth Warren's best case. Oh boy. Nevada would be likely. Again, it would be around the same margin Trump lost by in 2016. Warren would be like an 7 or 8-point win. Arizona would be lean in this scenario. Let's make the map nice and pretty. Again, trends are showing Arizona flipping either this election cycle or the next. But in this scenario, you see Warren winning it by a lean margin. Texas would be tilt. I think Beto O'Rourke would be pulling out for Elizabeth Warren to flip the state. This is where Elizabeth Warren is not plagued by scandal whatsoever, and by scandal I mean the progressives are pissed off at her. Where progressives are gonna bite their tongue and vote for her. Minnesota will be likely. I don't see Trump losing Iowa to Elizabeth Warren. She is no Bernie Sanders. She cannot appeal to the white working class whatsoever, especially with her policies. At least voters love honesty, and Warren does not have any of it. Even in her best case scenario, I don't see her like doing any of that. Sorry, I read a text and scared me. Missouri would be likely. Again, I would hope this would mean that it would be still considered that bellwether, but who knows? Kentucky would be likely as well. Again, this is where Kentucky voters are looking at the data finally and looking that South Carolina should be safe. Or saying, man, this guy's unpopular. We need someone who's popular. They would look at Warren's favor and be like, she's very much popular. Wisconsin would be tilt. Pennsylvania would be tilt. Michigan would be likely. The Rust Belt flips back to Elizabeth Warren. Her progressive views will appeal to some blue-collar workers, not all of them, but just some, just enough to flip Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. A lot in Michigan. I do think Trump's going to lose Michigan in 2016. I do see that. Indiana will be likely, and Ohio would be tilt. Again, Indiana won't change much. It's just, he just had a bad day in the state, I guess. North Carolina, oh boy. I don't see Warren flipping the state. I do think it'll be close, it'll be 1 point. But Georgia, however, I do see her flipping it narrowly to the Democrats' column. Barely. I see her getting a Stacey Abrams type endorsement where she could eventually pile in those voters. I also see her narrow. Actually, no, I don't actually. Even in her best case, I don't see her winning the state of Florida, just because they do not like socialists here in the Panhandle, and somewhat in the Peninsula, not as much. New Hampshire would be lean. Again, she's no Bernie Sanders. She might get the state to trend blue in this election cycle, but not enough. And she would carry Maine at large by a likely margin. So here's Elizabeth Warren's best case: 305 to 233. If you can't tell, I don't like Elizabeth Warren, but I'm trying to stay as unbiased as possible. And now let's take a look at what I think is going to happen. Oregon, I see going to Elizabeth Warren by likely margins. I do see Trump flipping Nevada to a tilt margin. And with that, Elizabeth Warren would flip Arizona by a tilt margin. I think Elizabeth Warren has got the ability. I think she has that southwestern appeal down here. I think if she could hold a few rallies in Phoenix, she could flip the state. New Mexico would be lean, and Colorado would be likely. I do think the Bernie bros in Colorado, if Bernie Sanders does endorse Warren, which I hope he does not, they would pull out for Warren. Texas would be likely. Again, they don't like the whole... Voters in the state don't like their guns being taken away, so they're not going to pull out for a progressive. Nebraska 2nd Congressional District would be likely. I do see Minnesota flipping to a tilt margin. Excuse me. Iowa would be likely. Again, it'll be a 9-point margin. It'll be close to being safe. Again, Warren is just the progressive Hillary. If you just pay attention, she is the progressive Hillary. Wisconsin would be lean, as well as Pennsylvania. Again, the economy here in these states are doing great, and the blue-collar workers are just thrilled at Donald Trump right now. I think Elizabeth Warren would narrowly flip the state of Michigan. It's not a popular opinion, but Trump's approval is tanking, is underwater, and is drowning in the state. Ohio would be likely for Trump. Again, 8-point win. I see North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida going likely. I think we can call it the likely trio. Excuse me. New Hampshire, I see going tilt to Donald Trump again, like how Trump won Michigan by tilt. Warren's not winning it by, tilt. It'll flip this time. Maine at large, I see going to Donald Trump by a tilt margin as well. It'll be close. But anyway, guys, this is the final map as I see it. Donald Trump wins 301 electoral votes to Elizabeth Warren's 237. How do y'all enjoy the video? I'm sick, so you have to hear this scrunched up voice. But anyway, guys, this is the Caddick one. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is the Caddick one saying peace.